Okay, so what I'm going to go over now is how to do a clipping mask. I've already given you a detailed Word document with the step-by-step guide, but sometimes I feel it's helpful to also show you in video form how to do it. So I'm going to go through the steps really quickly, but know that you also have the Word document that's attached to the activity in Echo that will allow you to go through the steps kind of slower, or that you can also use as you're working along. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is start your new canvas for the background part. So you're going to go to File, New, and the specs, I'm going to name this Clipping Mask. Excuse me. And then where the specs is, I did this differently than what's in the Word document. And I did this in case there are some of you that want to use this for your Facebook cover photo. This is the specs that you'll need for that. So it would be 851 pixels by 315 pixels. So you will need to click this drop down arrow and choose pixels and put it there. Your resolution, you can set it at 200 pixels per inch, and then the color mode you would leave the same, the CMYK, and then just click OK. Alright, and then here is your background. Now I need to open up the, or actually I don't want to do that yet. So what I'm going to do first is grab my text tool, and I need to make sure that I'm using a really nice, big, bold font. Now, the color that you type it in does not matter because it's going to be replaced by your images. But what you want to make sure you're choosing is a nice, thick font. You want to stay away from this rosewood. A lot of people try to choose this. And what happens is the only part that is colored in is where your image will show. So you won't have much of an image if you use that font. So you want to use something that's a little bit thicker and bolder. I think I'm going to go for, where is this? It's kind of my go-to thick font, which is the Poplar is the name. And what's the important part here is you don't want to just type the whole word. So if I'm doing love, I wouldn't just sit here and type the whole word love on things. So you want to make sure each letter is on a different layer. Okay, so I'm going to type the first layer, hit my check, grab my move tool because I have it in the wrong spot, and I'm going to move it, and I'm actually going to use my move tool to resize it so that it's nice and big. If you don't have these controls, if you don't see these where you can resize it using the move tool, then you probably need to check the box up here that says show transform controls. Okay, so I have my L, now I'm going to type the O, so I'm going to grab my text tool again, and you want to type in a completely different spot. So I'm going to type my O, hit the check, then I'm going to type in another spot, type my V. I can always move these, so don't freak out that they're all over the place. Hit my check again, and then another empty spot and type my E. And actually, I want these as capital letters, so I'm going to just go ahead and change that really quick. And if you hear someone talking in the background, that's my husband, who I told to stop talking a long time ago. Anyway, so we're going to resize these letters. He's so rude. And each time you resize or do anything, you have to, look, I'm pointing, you have to hit the check, okay? And then I grab my V layer. If ever you're getting frustrated and wondering, why isn't the right layer moving? It's because you have to make sure you're on the correct layer over here. Whatever you have selected over here is what you'll control here. Okay, so now let's grab the E. And they're all talking. Okay. Alright, so I have these, and they're not even, but I'm just going to go through the motions so we can get through the rest of this. Okay, so what you'll need to do is now open the images that you want inside the letters. So I'm going to go to File, Open, and I already have them saved in my folder. You can use whatever pictures you want as long as they're school appropriate. You're just going to click and open them. And to do that little shortcut, I just held down my control key while I selected all the pictures that I want. And then I clicked open. And I think I just did that the wrong way. Okay. So now, I think instead of doing that, we don't want to open them like that. So ignore that step. Sorry. So what we're going to do is actually go to File, and then Place, and then I'm going to select my first image that I want, and I want this one for the L, so I'm going to hit Place, and I'm going to move him so he's right over the L, and then over in my layer box, let me hit my check mark, over in my layer box I'm going to drag it so it's right over the letter that I want it inside. So I want it in the L, so I'm going to put it right in between the L and the O. And then what I'm going to do is right click on it and choose Create Clipping Mask. Now see, magically he went right inside the L. Now I'm going to click on my O, and I'm going to go again to File, Place, and inside the O I think I want this one. We'll see how this one works. You can always resize them. Just hold down your Shift key while you resize, so that way you maintain aspect ratio. And again, once you have it over the O, right click and choose Create Clipping Mask, and they're magically inside. Now I need to resize this a little bit. So I'm going to click my V and then go again to File, Place. Let's do this one. Look at her and her cuteness. Hit the check. And then you can right click and choose Create Clipping Mask. And then last but not least, the last one, which is the E. My silly kids. Right click, Create Clipping Mask, and that one's kind of hard to see, but whatever. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is actually make the letter stand out more. So you want to make sure again that you're on the letter and down in your effects. I've kind of gone over this before, but in case you've forgotten, if I go down to FX in my layer box, I can do a drop shadow. My favorite, of course, is the stroke. I can do the stroke, and the stroke will basically add an outline. So I'm going to put, I don't know, might leave it black. And this size part, you can make it as big of an outline as you want. But you do that so that way you can actually see the text. It'll stand out more. But if you wanted to go for something more subtle, you could, of course, do a you could do something like a drop shadow instead. So drop shadow would give it more of a shadow look behind it. It's kind of hard to see. Oh, I'm on the O right now. But that's basically what the drop shadow does, if you could tell. Okay, so you would do that basically until you're finished. Once you have it like you want it to look, you want to make sure you save it. So go ahead and save it as a Photoshop document, Clipping Mask, and hit save. And then you want to also save it as a JPEG. So remember to do that. We're going to go to File, Save As, you're going to hit the drop down arrow and this time choose JPEG, and then you're going to hit save. This allows you, it'll pop up and then you just hit OK, but that allows you to upload it to Facebook, to Echo, so you can turn it in, and even email it out, so if you wanted to share it with someone. Okay, so thanks again for suffering through this tutorial with me as I tried along with you, and I'll see you guys after the break.